Welcome to Collaborations with Katie. I have Norbert Orlewicz with me in the house. And before we actually dive in, I'd love to hear from you, Norbert, a little bit about who you serve and what is that transformation that you help them with?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Yeah.
Katie. It's great to be here. Yeah, we work with coaches, authors, speakers, experts, anyone that has a mission and a message to share with the world, an impact that they want to make with their clients. And what we do is we help them simplify their marketing strategy because there's a lot of confusion, a lot of information, a lot of overwhelm when it comes to marketing. Marketing is one of the most challenging things for any business
Mhm.
owner, entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, or coach to understand and do very well. And it's because that's a language that simply most people haven't been taught. And so we really focus on the fundamentals and the foundations to help people simplify their strategy so that they can focus on the most essential tasks that will actually move the needle and get results.
Why do you believe personally, you and I have talked about this before, but why is collaboration so important in the world of entrepreneurship today?
It's a big topic and there's a lot to talk. There's a lot to unpack here. For me, it's really personal because it's a big part of my success as an entrepreneur in business. I always say that all the success that I've had in entrepreneurship, I have not accomplished by myself. It's not been a one man show. Pretty much with all the businesses that I've run, especially successfully, it's been in partnership either with business partners or and with collaboration. So the first company that we had a lot of success with and we ran for 18 years was fundamentally established through collaborations, and its success was because of the collaborations. We were able to build a really amazing community, and we were able to build an incredible leadership team of affiliates and trainers that supported our mission. And we leveraged each other. They leveraged our platform that we had built and the audience that we had created. And we leveraged their success and their marketing efforts and the audiences that they were building. And together, we were able to create and build a community and a platform that was able to be successful regardless of what marketing strategies worked or didn't work for us, because we always had that base of collaboration. And that moving into the future here now, we're in
Yeah.
2025, and we have to admit, marketing is more difficult than it ever has been. We have more tools and more technology, more automations to simplify a lot of the things that we struggled with back in 2008, 2010. But at the same time, there's a lot more information, there's a lot more options, there's a lot more competition, there's a lot more platforms, and there's just a lot more noise and so many different options for what we can do. And now with AI, my concern is that as much as the internet has been littered with noise, this is going to multiply exponentially
Yeah.
with the volume of content that AI can create. You start surfing YouTube and social media now, we're literally seeing completely AI created channels, completely AI created brands and content. And my personal feeling is that people are going to get really tired of it.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, when I'm on YouTube and I'm looking for something interesting to watch, as soon as I hit an AI video, I can tell in 10 seconds that it's an AI video and I bounce right away
Mm.
because I have not found any of those AI videos to actually have any depth and anything that I can actually pull away. They're literally just litter on the internet. And more people are going to figure that out. They're going to see it. The novelty of AI is really exciting. We see a new video created with the latest AI technology, and it looks wild and crazy because we've never seen anything like it before. And I'm guilty of it as well. I saw that in my feed. And the first time I saw one of these videos, I was like, wow, that's so impressive. And the second time I saw one of these videos, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And the third time I saw it, I swiped right past it because I'd already seen it and it wasn't new and novel for me anymore. And so, as the novelty of AI wears off, I believe what people are really going to be looking for is true connection and true community and collaboration. When we collaborate with each other, we build communities with each other. Instead of just being a lone wolf, a lone voice in the noise, competing with all the AI, we can really build something authentic and insulate ourselves from all the noise and the chaos that's going on with AI and will continue to go on over the years.
What you just said is so perfect because it's literally the segue into my next question, which you and I have done collabs together before. I met you through an event I did, and we've both been grappling with that question of traditional summits just being not effective. All the recordings, all the stuff that people just don't, let's be real, have time to watch. And I know for myself, and I think you agree with me, is what was missing was a live component where people could truly connect with each other, including speakers and listeners, not just speaker to speaker or listener to listener, but really creating that cohesiveness. So I'm excited to say you and I came together and we have a team together now to create what's called the Clients and Cash Flow CoLab. So for you, what does this mission mean to you personally? Why does this matter to you? And by the way, we're doing this in November. For anyone who's watching, listening, we'll tell you more. But for now, let's talk about the meat behind why Norb said, yes, let's do this.
There's a few different things. One is because we're testing out a little bit of a different model to really support each of the participants, the speakers that are coming in and participating in the collab, turn the traditional summit on its head, so to speak, and really make it a win for every single person involved. So that was one of the first questions that we had is how do we make this collaborative event really much more beneficial for everyone involved, not just the host, not just the person getting the benefit of the email list and things like that, but how do we actually make this into a real collaborative event? Because one of the things we noticed with summits is people say yes and they jump into a summit and they participate, but everyone's like trying to like, what's in it for me? What do I get? And then trying to do the least amount of effort just to meet the minimum requirement, just to be a part of the thing to hopefully get some result. And we were like, what if everyone was actually motivated to work together and take ownership for the project? And so that was kind of the first question that we wrestled with and we're trying to solve with this event. But the second question is, how can we make this really valuable for the attendees as well?
Yes.
Let's not just use it as a marketing gimmick or a marketing tool to build an email list and get some audience and some attendees. But how do we actually make this a valuable experience for the people attending? Because there is so much noise and there's so many things to attend. How can we actually deliver something of value? And so when we ask these questions, these are the important questions that we should really be wrestling with as coaches and entrepreneurs and business owners. Not, yes, how do I get more visibility, but not like, how do I get more followers? How do I get more clients? How do I get more leads? Those are all important questions and important problems that we need to solve. But I wonder if we approach it with different questions. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time, right? The quality of your answers is dependent on the quality of your questions, the questions that you ask. And so instead of just focusing on more leads, more sales for myself, what if we ask the questions, how do we make this a more valuable experience for everybody involved? And if we ask that question first and really focus on figuring out the best answers for that, I think that we can come up with better products and services and experiences that really serve every single person involved. Not just us as the speakers and presenters who are putting this thing on, but the attendees as well.
That's so perfectly said. And I think that is what you and I share in terms of the value is how do we make this a win, not just for us, because that's what a lot of entrepreneurs do. They forget that they're actually in it to serve others, not themselves. We obviously have something, we need to make money, we need to have a viable business. But I think really thinking this through to be able to serve people where they're at and really make a difference. And it's also about transformation, not just information, which I think is important as well. What is the number one mistake that you see entrepreneurs making when it comes to clients and cash flow currently?
There's quite a few.
Oh, let's go with the top three,
Unfortunately,
maybe.
unfortunately, but let's try to figure out what are the main mistakes. Number one is clarity, like clarity on your market positioning. How do you want to position yourself in your space, in your niche? How do you separate yourself from the competition? I hate using that word competition, but how do you stand out in the marketplace? What makes you a little bit different and unique? And then the clarity in the messaging. Who am I speaking to? And what is it that will resonate with them? What is it that will connect with them? And not just on a logical level, but on an emotional level.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges with coaches, especially, but with a lot of servant type entrepreneurs like us, we've got big hearts. We've got some awesome skills, and we want to share it with other people and we want to help a lot of people. But the reality is, when it comes to marketing, you might want to help a lot of people, but you can't help everybody.
Right.
It's great guidance that I got from one of our clients, a great coach. And he said, you can do anything you want, but you just can't do everything right now. And it's the same approach with marketing. Like we've got to eat this elephant one bite at a time. And what I see, the big mistake that most people make is that they don't appreciate the step-by-step process that a business takes to grow and that a marketing campaign takes to work, right? So you see this perfectly with coaches, brand new coaches. They get their certification, they set up their LinkedIn profile, they set up their website, and the first thing they do is a call to action, book a call, book a strategy
Right.
call, book a discovery call, right? They DM with some strangers, they prospect on LinkedIn, they send some connection requests, they post some content, and they're DMing with people, and right away they're like, hey, let's hop on a coffee chat for 30 minutes and let's talk about how we can work together. Basically, you want to sell me your coaching services, but you don't know really how to do it. But you're hoping that if I jump on a call, somehow the conversation is going to lead to me asking about your coaching services. And magically that's not how marketing works. And that's not how coaching works. Okay. You've got to understand that you've got to take a step-by-step process, right? The first step is the connection. If let's just use LinkedIn as a perfect example. If we're connecting with people on LinkedIn, the first step is just make the connection. The second step is just build a relationship, like just engage in a conversation. If you can't get them to engage in a conversation, you're not going to sell them any coaching, regardless of what perfect little message you got from AI to send to them.
Right.
We've got to make that connection first. The next thing is if you actually want to sell your coaching, what is that person going to need to know to invest in coaching with you, a person they've never met? Well, they're going to need to know that you can help them with the problems and challenges that you are actually dealing with, that you will get them to where they want to be, and that you are the person that has the tools and the methodology and the process to actually get them there, to actually solve those problems. So there's an element of trust that needs to be built. So you've got to ask yourself the question, how can I build trust and relationship with this person? And how can I demonstrate to them that I know what I'm talking about? And no, your certification does not demonstrate your expertise. Your certification tells me that you did some work and you got a certification, and that's great, but I still don't trust that you're the person that can help me with my problem until you actually demonstrate that expertise and you build that trust with me. So one of the best ways to do this is don't talk about how great you are. Don't throw all your certifications around, but actually do something for that person. Actually demonstrate your expertise. Actually get them an outcome. So, what small problem can you solve for them in a short amount of time? This is where we come up with something like a webinar or a lead magnet or a mini course or even a discovery session or a strategy session, but we build it around a specific outcome. Okay. So that we can communicate, hey, hop on a 30-minute call with me and I'm going to help you with X, Y, and Z. And at the end of that call, here's what you're going to have. Now the prospect knows what's in it for them, what to expect, why they're going to book that call, and if it's even worth 30 minutes of their time. Now they can make that decision. And what you've done now is you've qualified for interest so you don't waste time with people who aren't interested in what you have to offer. And number two, if they've said yes, you've just now gotten a small yes. And they're now open to having that conversation with you instead of just, booking random calls with strangers. That's not going to get you anywhere, right? So understanding that all of this is a step-by-step process and then actually designing what that conversation looks like and the different steps that you're going to take with prospects.
What I would add to that, and you've said it in not maybe in these words, but my experience of working with you and experience and learning from you has been this particular element of business is foundational. I personally spent years and years trying to pull this business together, but I never was clear. Like, let's be real. I didn't have the foundation. So, of course, I'm trying to put the walls up and they're falling down. And I think if I move over here a little bit, I'll try it again. They'll fall back down. So, I really appreciate the expertise you bring around this because I think people tend to be in such a hurry to create the result they want for their business. They don't do this work, which
I'm so glad that you mentioned it, that you said it that way, because that's exactly it. It's this hustle culture that we're in, and people seem to be in that place of desperation, especially when you're starting a business. Cash flow is important. You got to make money, obviously, and so we're putting the cart before the horse. And sometimes we need to slow down to be able to speed up. And what happens is if you don't get these foundations in place, you're going to do what most entrepreneurs do, which is you're going to bounce from one tactic to another, trying a whole bunch of different things, hoping that one of these things work. But here's the reality. Every single marketing tactic that you're learning right now from some guru or trainer or TikTok person online, every one of these marketing strategies work. Every one of them works. They're just not working for you because you're not making them work.
Mm.
So the challenge isn't which is the right strategy. It's number one, which is the right strategy for you? And then number two, committing long enough to that strategy work for you. So the reason that I've been able to last for 18 years in this industry is because I know that in marketing, nothing works until it does. See, most people get into marketing their business and they try something like, I'm going to put up a webinar funnel. They put up a webinar funnel, they do one webinar, two people show up, they don't make any sales, and they get frustrated and it kills their confidence. And they're like, oh my God, that didn't work. I suck. I'm an awful human being. I should try something else. But me, who's been doing this for 18 years, if that happens to me, I know, oh, okay, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Not let's try something different. Let's figure out what didn't work. Did I just not get the word out enough? Did the registration page suck? Can I improve that? Did my source of traffic suck? Can I improve that? I'm looking at what areas of the funnel, of the process, do I need to work on and improve? And then we focus and improve each step of that funnel. And that's what we did with digital mentors. Right? We've done over $2 million in revenue. 95% of that has been through one traffic source, through one funnel, through one webinar, and one program that we sell.
Mm.
Now, with the first time we launched that funnel, it
Yeah.
didn't work. It was a 6-hour workshop. And yeah, we did get a few clients from it, but we were like, this is not an efficient process. We gotta fix this. And it literally took us 3 to 4 months to get it to a place where it was working really well. And now we've got a predictable stream of income. It's a predictable source of income. We know that if we can get 5 people to attend our workshop, we know we're going to get at least one client from that. So we don't even need hundreds of people on our workshop. We can literally do a workshop for 5 people, and we're very happy with that.
So good. So one of the things I'd love to ask you, because I know you and I, we like to, what's the word? We do things our own way. Sometimes we don't like to follow the rules. And so my question to you is this: what is one myth, shall we say, or a quote, should do that we hear the gurus say all the time that entrepreneurs are believing? I've fallen for many. But what is one that you want to be controversial about and say, no, that's not accurate, if
Mm,
there was something out there?
yeah. An easy one is like going viral, but I'm just going to go on the whole content marketing side of things. Content marketing is not creating content and just posting content on social media is not going to get you client. That would probably be the myth that I would want to bust. Like content marketing is not the most important part of your marketing strategy, especially when you're getting started, especially if you're trying to build on social media and your social media following right now is pretty small. The content marketing alone is not going to get you clients. It's an important part of your marketing strategy, but it's really only one part. You've got to be growing your audience. And if you're just dependent on the algorithm to push your content out to new people, and that's your only hope for growing your audience, it's not going to work, right? I basically say in marketing, there's 3 steps. There's literally only 3 steps to digital marketing. This is all you need to know. Step number 1 is build your audience. We're building a distribution channel. You can have multiple distribution channels eventually, but initially just build one distribution channel, okay? But it's the most important thing. That is step number 1. Build your audience, build your distribution channel. So that's either building a following on a social media platform. Notice I said a social media platform, not all of the social media platforms, because it's impossible as a solopreneur to build on multiple platforms simultaneously and have any success with that. It's just too much effort, too much work. So what we recommend is put all of your effort and work into one platform to build momentum with your perfect ideal clients. And once you've established one platform, then it's so much easier to expand on another platform because you leverage the audience distribution channel that you've built on that existing platform. I see these examples all the time of successful entrepreneurs doing this. They build on one platform and then they expand to another. What are you doing to build your network, to build your audience, to build your distribution channel? And it's not just posting content. You got to be actively actually adding human beings to your distribution channel. Meaning if you're on LinkedIn, you're adding connections. If you're on Facebook, you're actively adding friends. And if you're not doing 5 to 10 to 20 new connections every single day on one of these platforms and you don't see that number growing every single day, you're not growing your business. You're just posting content.
Right.
So, number one, you got to build that audience. And every single day, that audience needs to be growing. Your email list is growing, or your LinkedIn followers are growing, or your Facebook are growing. It's got to be growing. And if it's not growing, that's the problem you've got to solve. How do I grow that audience? And again, posting content alone is not going to do it. The second step is engage with your audience, build relationship. That's where content comes in as well. Okay. Your email marketing, your follow up, being present. If you've chosen LinkedIn as your one platform, then make sure that you're posting content to be present and be in front of your audience. Okay. And then number three is sell to your audience. So move them into the sales process, make offers. So that's always one of the first questions that I ask to a client that's saying, "Hey, Norbert, I'm struggling. I'm not getting enough clients." I ask them, "How many offers did you make last week? How many people did you actually speak to and make an offer of the product or service that you're selling?" "Oh, I didn't do any last week." And I'm like, "So that's not a surprise why you don't have any clients, because we have to be making offers." And then I just backtrack from that, right? How many new audience members did you add? What platform are you building on? LinkedIn. Great. How many new contacts did you add this last week? About two. There's your problem, right? So it's not rocket science. It's just understanding the basic activities that we need to be doing and then focusing all of our time and energy on that, not 100 different things. And so that's what we've got to look at. We got to look at our business and we got to say, what can I stop doing in my business? Because you're probably doing too many things. And all of these things are not contributing to your return on investment. They're not moving the needle. So the best thing to do is actually stop, look at everything that you're doing and figure out, what can I stop doing so that I can focus that time and energy and resources into the few things that will actually move the needle, growing that audience, engaging with that audience, and making offers and selling to that audience.
So, what's so exciting to me is we are hosting an event called the Clients and Cash Flow CoLab. And of course, Norbert and I will be speakers for this event. Now, if you've seen already, you're getting the tip of the iceberg, just a little tiny sample of the value that Norbert is bringing to the table, because his knowledge is just, it blows my mind, quite frankly. And the question I have for you, Norbert, is what excites you the most about what the participants can expect to gain from this event that we're creating?
Yeah, I feel like participants are really going to get foundational, critical lessons. Like, you're going to learn what you need to know to move the needle. Because the focus of this with the speakers that we've brought on is to focus on, like, really the best strategies, foundational strategies, and then the best strategies to help you create clients and cash flow. So we've been very selective. Katie's been very selective with the individuals that we've chosen to speak, to make sure that every single person complements the other and we're not taking you down crazy rabbit holes and trendy, hypey things, but we're actually just teaching solid principles that can be built upon, right? Strategies that have stood the test of time, strategies that literally worked 10, 15 years ago and continue to work and will continue to work regardless of the platforms and the algorithms and the trends and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to cut through the noise and forget about all the things you think you should be doing, but actually just learn the few things that will move the needle, this event's going to be for
Mm,
you.
perfect. So my last question is completely off script, and it is one that I think maybe ties back into one of the core values that I have in terms of running this event is I always bring in people who share integrity and who care about people. They're not here to serve their own egos and try to get a bigger name. They're just here because we care. So I would love to hear, just for our audience and from your own perspective, what is it that you believe in that's so important to you that obviously has you still in business 18 years later? What is that core belief for you that keeps you standing and continues having you move forward? Let's be real, you're still standing.
Yeah, on entrepreneurship, running a business, it's not an easy game. Like, it is challenging. And even when you do accomplish levels of success, I can almost guarantee you that it's not just like easy breezy, smooth sailing from there. There's always going to be challenges. And with every new level of growth, and I'm sure you've experienced this, with every new level of growth, there's new challenges, new exciting challenges. And if you want to keep pushing yourself and keep growing, there's going to continue to be new challenges. I guess what pushes me through all of that is I really am truly passionate entrepreneurship, about self-sustainability, about individuality and freedom. And so I'm very passionate about individuals being able to create their own income, being in charge of their own income. I've always hated the idea of having a job and working for a boss. I never wanted to go down the traditional corporate route, which is why I didn't go to university. I didn't get my degrees. I've never worked for a corporation. I have no idea what that culture is like because I always wanted to be in charge, in control of my own income. And with that, there's pros and cons, right? I don't get the regular paycheck, but I have unlimited potential and opportunity and possibility and freedom as well. And so I think that passion, that is really what inspires me because I've seen so many people throughout the years be able to create that for themselves. And I really truly believe that entrepreneurship, it levels the playing field. It's accessible to anybody. If you've got a burning desire, if you've got a vision, a mission, if you've got a message, if you've got some skills and you want to build a business out of it, you can. Anybody can. There's literally nothing to stop you from doing it except for your ability to develop some skills that you need to develop and your persistency to be consistent over time. That's really the deciding factor is how long are you going to stick with it, right? And I've seen so many success stories over the years, people who I never thought would be successful that built success, that I truly believe that this is accessible to anybody. And that's, I think, what keeps me going.
Wow, Norbert, thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much. And for those of you watching and listening, if you're interested in this event, drop it in the comments. Let us know, and we will make sure to personally send you the link as soon as it's open for registration. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.